to stay, risks annihilation. It could be an asteroid hitting the Earth. It could be a new virus, climate change, nuclear war, artificial intelligence gone rogue. We can, and must, use our curiosity and intelligence to look to the stars. We must do it now before humanity is overtaken by some disaster that we can neither anticipate nor control.
Before passing away, Stephen Hawking sent a warning to all humans on Earth. We are running out of space, and the only places to go are other worlds, he said. But that's easier said than done. After all, space isn't a very hospitable environment, and some of the planets out there are so horrifying they could be used as Satan's vacation spots. Seriously, we're talking raining glass, rogue planets roaming alone in space, and zombie planets that escape the destruction of their suns. Welcome to Space Aquarius, and let's dive into the unknown. K2-18b is one of those planets that sounds almost inviting at first, like, hey, it's got water vapor and maybe even oceans. But then you realize that going for a swim there would pretty much be a one-way ticket to getting vaporized. K12-18b was discovered back in 2015 by NASA's Kepler Space Telescope. And at first, everyone got excited because it's in the habitable zone of its star. That means it's just at the right distance where liquid water could exist. But hold up, this planet has some brutal surprises waiting for us. First off, it's about 2.6 times the size of Earth, and roughly 8.6 times more massive, so gravity there would crush you like a pancake. Even if you somehow survived that, you'd be dealing with temperatures anywhere from 76 degrees Celsius to 47 degrees Celsius, or negative 100 Fahrenheit to 116 Fahrenheit. But don't get your hopes up for that sweet life-supporting water just yet. Here's the real kicker. The atmosphere is thick, made up mostly of hydrogen and helium, and it's so dense that the pressure at the surface would be unimaginable. Here, you wouldn't want to take a dip. Because of that pressure and temperature, the water would vaporize you on contact. You'd pretty much evaporate like a drop of water on a hot skillet. Imagine jumping into a pool that immediately turns you into steam and scatters your atoms into the atmosphere. To make things even worse, K12-18b is constantly bombarded by radiation from its red dwarf star. So, even if the vaporization didn't get you, the radiation probably would fry you before you even had a chance to scream. But what if there was no steam, no vapor, no nothing? What if the planet was alone, drifting throughout space like a zombie planet? Before we move on to the next section, please don't forget to subscribe if you've liked this video so far. Hela, the so-called zombie planet, is one of the strangest and most haunting planets astronomers have ever discovered. It earned its nickname because it literally survived the death of its own star, something that almost never happens. Picture this. Hela was orbiting a red giant star that eventually went supernova, exploding in a violent burst of energy that should have obliterated everything around it. Instead of being shattered or vaporized, Hela somehow got flung out of the explosion, still mostly intact, and is now wandering through space as a rogue planet. It's like a corpse that crawled out of its own grave and just kept going. What makes it even more eerie is that Hela still shows signs of geological activity, like tectonic shifts and even faint heat emissions, despite being cut off from any stellar energy source. It's basically a frozen, drifting wasteland that refuses to just die already. Scientists think that some kind of internal heat, maybe left over from the supernova or residual radioactive decay, is keeping its core from completely cooling off. The whole zombie vibe also comes from the fact that it's a lifeless, desolate rock that just won't give up. It's like the undead of planets, somehow shambling through the galaxy after surviving what should have been certain doom. Speaking of certain doom, there's a planet where it constantly rains glass. HD 189773b is basically the universe's version of a living nightmare. Imagine a planet where the winds are so fast they're literally supersonic, like 5,400 miles per hour fast. That's 7 times the speed of sound. If that's not bad enough, these winds are whipping around molten glass. Yeah, you heard that right. Glass rain. It's like being caught in a sideways, high-speed blizzard made of razor-sharp glass shards. And just to make things even more fun, the temperature on this planet is around 1,700 degrees Celsius or 3,100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's hot enough to melt metal. So while it might look like a gorgeous deep blue gem from a distance, That color's just a trick of the atmosphere. It's not oceans or anything nice. It's just the way the silicate particles scatter light. Oh, and it's tidally locked, which means one side is always facing its star, baking endlessly, while the other side is stuck in eternal darkness. The difference in temperature between the two sides creates these insane winds that just never stop. In short, HD 189773b is like being in a relentless, scorching glass storm that never ends. It's stunning to look at from afar, but if you were anywhere near it, you'd be shredded, roasted, and tossed around like confetti. Not exactly a vacation spot. Another destination you should avoid for your next vacation is the planet that has burning ice. And no, that's not a metaphor. Alright, so Gliese 436b is like the universe's biggest cosmic prank. It's a planet covered in ice that literally is on fire. Yeah, you heard that right, burning ice. You'd think that's impossible, but space just loves to mess with our expectations. So here's what's going on. This planet is insanely hot, like about 800 degrees Fahrenheit hot, which is 400 degrees Celsius. You'd expect any ice to just melt and evaporate instantly, right? No way. The ice on Gliese 436b is stubborn as hell and refuses to go anywhere. It's called Ice V7, and it's not your average freezer ice. The gravity on this planet is so intense that it crushes water into solid form, even though the surface temperature would happily roast a pizza in seconds. The wild part is that this ice is so tightly packed that it doesn't melt, no matter how hot it gets. Instead, it just kind of sits there, being fiery and frozen all at the same time. It's like someone put a snow cone directly on the sun and somehow it just said, yeah, I'm good. And because the planet's so hot, it's constantly losing its atmosphere, leaving behind this massive trail of hydrogen that makes it look like a comet on fire. So, Gliese 436b is basically an angry, fiery snowball that refuses to play by the rules of physics. It's like space just wanted to have something so confusing that scientists would be stuck scratching their heads forever. Another planet that made scientists scratch their heads is our next pick. PSO J318.5-22 is basically the ultimate nightmare planet. It's one of the most terrifying places in the universe, and not just because it's weird, it's because it's completely alone. Imagine a planet that's just floating through the endless void of space with no parent star to orbit, like some kind of cosmic drifter. Yeah, that's PSO J318.5-22. It's a rogue planet wandering the galaxy all by itself. The first terrifying thing about it is the sheer darkness. Space is already pretty bleak, but this planet is so far from any star that it's shrouded in almost total darkness. There's no sunrise, no sunset, just eternal pitch black night. You wouldn't be able to see your own hand in front of your face if you were somehow unlucky enough to stand on it. And if that wasn't creepy enough, the planet itself is a raging storm of chaos. It's a giant gas about 6 times the mass of Jupiter, and its atmosphere is filled with glowing red-hot clouds of molten iron and silicates. Imagine a world where the air itself is on fire, and the whole place just glows with an eerie, hellish red light. It's like something straight out of a horror movie. But what makes it even more terrifying is the loneliness of it all. Unlike most planets that are tethered to a star, PSO J318.5-22 was somehow thrown out of its solar system millions of years ago. Now it just drifts endlessly, completely abandoned and forgotten, wandering through the void. But what if I told you that a planet with life on it is equally as terrifying? Alright, let's talk about Kepler 452b and why it's not just Earth's twin. It's more like Earth's older, stronger, potentially hostile big brother. This planet is freakishly similar to our own, but that's exactly what makes it so terrifying. Kepler 452b was discovered in 2015 by NASA's Kepler Space Telescope. And right from the start, scientists were losing their minds over how Earth-like it seemed. It orbits a sun-like star at just the right distance to potentially support liquid water, a cozy little spot right in the habitable zone. It's about 60% larger than Earth, meaning gravity would be stronger, and its year is only about 20 days longer than ours. Basically, it's like finding your planetary doppelganger out in the cosmos. But here's where things get creepy. Kepler 452b is about 1.5 billion years older than Earth. Let that sink in. If life ever started there, it's had 1.5 billion more years to evolve. Imagine what that means. Civilizations far older, far more advanced, and maybe far more dangerous than anything we could comprehend. For all we know, they've mastered technologies that make our most cutting-edge stuff look like sticks and rocks. And while it's about 1,400 light years away, don't get too comfortable. If these hypothetical aliens are advanced enough, that distance might mean nothing to them. They could have figured out interstellar travel, or even worse, already be on their way here. Do you think there is another planet with life that has already come to Earth? Let us know in the comments below. And subscribe to Space Aquarius for more cool videos about our universe. We'll see you in the next one.